Good afternoon, teacher. I'm going to explain my presentation with topic monitor theory. I'm doing alone because all my teammates have groups already. The three theories that I choose is for L2 process learning, the acquisition learning distinction hypothesis, the natural order hypothesis, the affective filter hypothesis. Introduction to Krashen's monitor theory. Stephen Krashen's monitor model presents a theoretical framework for understanding how people acquire a second language. It emphasizes that language acquisition is more effective when learners receive comprehensible input in low-stress environments rather than focusing solely on explicit language instruction. Below the expanded explanation on the model central hypothesis. The acquisition learning distinction hypothesis. This hypothesis differentiates between two separate ways of gaining language competence. Acquisition, a subconscious process similar to how children acquire their first language. Learners develop language intuition through meaningful interaction without formal study on grammar rules. They become fluent by focusing on communication rather than accuracy. Mistakes are seen as a natural part of learning. Example: a child or adult immersed in a foreign speaking environment readily becomes conversational by hearing and responding in the target language over time. Learning, a conscious process involving deliberate study on grammar rules, vocabulary, and syntax, often takes place in a formal classroom settings. While learning can help improve language accuracy, it does not lead to fluency by itself. Instead, it functions as a monitor to correct language use after fluency is developed. Example: students learning verb conjugations and sentence structures in a traditional classroom while struggling to communicate outside that setting. Krashen argues that acquisition plays the central role in developing real communicative competence, while learning serves as a tool to refine and correct language use when necessary. Natural order hypothesis. This hypothesis proposes that learners acquire grammatically structures in a predictable sequence that is independent to the order in which they are taught. Certain language structures are learned earlier, while others come later regardless of instruction methods. For example, English learners may correctly use the past tense marker ed before mastering simple rules like third-person singular is in the present tense. The predicable sequence holds true for both first and second language acquisition. Example: a learner might say he played yesterday. Incorrect omission of the third person singular is in his place yesterday. Even if they correctly use the past tense played elsewhere, this reflects natural developmental stage rather than a failure to learn grammar. The affective filter hypothesis. The affective filter acts as a mental barrier that either allows or blocks the processing of language input. When learners experience low stresses, high motivation, and confidence, the filter is low and they can effectively absorb and process language input. Conversely, anxiety, low motivation, and low self-confidence create a high filter preventing language acquisition, even if the learner receives comprehensible input. Key factors affecting the affective filter. Motivation. Highly motivated learners are more willing to engage with language learning and persist despite challenges. Self-confidence. A positive self-image fosters a risk-taking in language use essential for improvement. Anxiety. High anxiety can use mental blocks, making it harder to focus on language input and retain information. Thank you, teacher, for your attention.